Hi, my name is Izzy, and there are two things you should know about me. Number one, I love reading. Obviously, you're on my book channel. But two, I love YouTube, especially YouTubers. So I decided I wanted to read my favorite influencers' favorite books. And in this episode, I'm reading PewDiePie's favorite books. Another OG YouTuber, PewDiePie. I found his channel, I think like a little bit later on in life. I think it was probably like the Happy Wheels videos that like really sucked me in. I would say he definitely contributed to me loving that type of content. He is an avid reader and I had no idea that he loved reading so much. Actually, this year he's doing a book club and we may be reading one of the books that is part of the book club. So I took a lot of inspiration because he's talked about books quite a bit. In this video, he is talking about one of his favorite new authors. The book I decided to pick from his favorite new author is Spring Snow by Yuka Mishima. That's what he said. I don't really know exactly what this one is about. We'll see. I think this type of book could be hit or miss for me. The next book, Mythos by Stephen Fry. This is a nonfiction book about Greek mythology. Kind of, he's like retelling the stories, but also in kind of like a funnier way, I guess. I've been wanting to read this for a hot minute now because I love Greek mythology. I'm actually really excited to finally get to this book. And then the last book I have is The Republic by Plato. I am scared of this one because it is obviously, Plato is a philosopher. It's going to be a philosophical story to an extent, I believe. I am nervous about it because I feel like it's going to be very boring. My assumption of that, I'm not going to like this one. Never say never. I've never read anything from Plato. Those are the books that I decided to pick, so let's get started. This is definitely my bad as a person who should have done the research just like a tiny bit better. I don't think Mythos is one of his favorite books. I think it is like a book he just read and he was just talking about it. Definitely my bad. I don't think this was like his favorite book, but I do want to finish it because I have been wanting to read Mythos for a while. And I'm so sorry. I feel like such a dumbass. I just didn't do my due diligence. We're just gonna pretend like it is, so. Don't yell at me. Spring Snow. So far, we're kind of following our one character. Essentially comes from like a very wealthy family in Japan. His family's not like the original like rich family. They actually just inherit money in a different, I think like in a Western way. And he's kind of like, I would say he's kind of like a rich brat. Seemingly, he seems like a very bright, he has a lot of potential, but he's a very lazy and doesn't have any ambitions. We're following him and we're also following his friend Honda, like the car. They have a very surface level friendship, but it's a deep enough where Honda's kind of like the only other character to know Kay pretty well. So far what I've gotten, it is going to be a love story between Kay and this girl that he used to grow up with. He kind of has this like toxic-ish behavior towards her. He is infatuated with her, but also I think he low-key is scared of her. I think he's also scared of just like being in love in general, so he kind of like pushes her away and tries to say like all these nasty things to her, and he low-key like really likes her too, and she's been in love with him ever since they were kids. They just seem like they have kind of a little bit of a toxic relationship already off the bat. I'm 54 pages into this book. We know that these two princes are not from Japan, but they come over I think for like like school or whatever and are staying with Kay's family. Oh yeah, they're like talking about girls or whatever, right? The princes are showing Kay like their sweethearts from home, like, oh, this is what she looks like. She's so gorgeous and beautiful and amazing. And they ask Kay, they're like, do you have a little sweetheart? And he's like, I mean, kinda, I guess. I just wrote her this letter though, saying how much I hate her guts. But I kind of like her too. In this, we get to see like the letter that he wrote her. And it's just so funny because it reminded me of the Little Rascals whenever Alfalfa is writing this letter, like the ugly letter to Darla. He's like, I hate your guts. And he's like writing a love letter. That's what he gave to me. He's not super close to people. He thinks that they're probably all superficial. And he just already just sounds annoying, I guess. He's already giving me mixed signals here. I'm confused. I also learned a little bit about the author. The author was at the time very anti-communist, I think. And he wanted the emperor in Japan to be back in power. So he like decided to run like rebellion against, or not rebellion, I guess like coup. I don't know. It's something to like kind of get people together and like get the emperor back on the throne. Well, it goes wrong and he commits seppuku, which is a ritual suicide. That's crazy. Oh. Huh. Did that just give me a spoiler? I don't know. I guess we'll see. Like I said, I'm intrigued to see what's going to happen. But yeah, this is the angle. Oh wow, this is gonna look like... Oh well. Also, I know I look so glamorous and gorgeous right now. You don't have to tell me in the comments, but like if you want to. I'm on page 255 and I thought we could talk about this little book while I do some laundry. So if you see me kind of like running around, actually I'm going to change the angle. At the beginning, I was so confused. I didn't know what was going on. Truly, deeply, honestly, I was like, man, this book is boring. It's very descriptive, which is nice when you're kind of in a reading slump, which I was for a little while, like a while ago. Getting into this book is very hard. We're just talking about the scenery, or we're talking about these beautiful metaphors. He has such beautiful metaphors about life. He has these beautiful quotes about reincarnation. His writing is so good. For a while I didn't really understand exactly what was going on, just because we are like kind of talking into these metaphors. I was kind of not getting lost, but I was kind of like disinterested in the story because I was like, okay, I get it. This is gorgeous. I love this. Beautiful. Love it. Stunning. Can we get to the plot? And sometimes I still kind of feel that way. I still kind of get like, oh, I love this line, but like, can we move on? I'm actually like really into the story now. Now, am I like super loving it? Not really, but I am enjoying it. Just because the main guy of this book is so insufferable sometimes to me. I don't care about his relationship with this girl. Like, I literally don't care, but they're doing something so scandalous that I'm just kind of like, where is it gonna go? I need to know what's going to happen, and I'm eating it up. It's kind of like drama, and I love it. Like I said, I feel like the beginning was a little bit slow and it took me a hot minute to kind of get into this, but I'm like actually really enjoying this now. How this author does his metaphors. When we get a metaphor, obviously it's like maybe a line or two. It's like we're gonna kind of indicate this thing is kind of similar to this kind of thing, right? I really like the way he does his, in a sense where we start at the beginning of this kind of metaphor-esque. Right now they're talking about this game that the Count used to play as a kid. And then you like read it at the beginning of the chapter, beginning of the paragraph, and you're like, okay. And then you keep going, keep reading, and then you kind of see how it ties into the whole metaphor of like what's going on, how a certain character feels, how a certain character's beliefs are, and you get to see that metaphor really get tied into everything. And so now it's talking about how they used to play this other game where you like kick a ball or like something. And now I'm finally at the part where it's kind of like tying it in a little bit. Meditation had a great deal in common with Kamari, the traditional support of the Karas, the family. No matter how high one kicked the ball, it would obviously come down to earth again at once. Even in his illustrious ancestors could it excite cries of admiration when he picked up the white deerskin ball by its thongs of purple leather and kicked it in such incredible heights that topped the 90-foot roof of the imperial residence itself and must inevitably fall back again into the garden. Since all of the solutions left something to be desired in terms of good taste, it was better to wait for someone else to make the unpleasant decision. Someone else's foot would have to stretch out to intercept the falling ball. Even if one kicked the ball oneself, it was quite possible that it might be seized by some unexpected whim of its own as it reached the high point of its arc and come sailing down in a new and unpredictable trajectory. Still, the descending ball would not inevitably be his to kick. Surely someone else's turn to cope with it would come. The Count was never one to be long vexed by worries, and as an inevitable consequences, his worries always ended up by vexing others. How it is as like this game and stuff is then turned into like how he feels like he wants to deal with this situation, whereas to kind of put it off until someone else does it for him. Very interesting. It just kind of shows the lack of urgency that this guy feels with regarding his daughter's scandal. There have been good metaphors, but they're metaphors that make you think sometimes. This is a book I think you definitely need to pay attention. You can't mindlessly read it and mindlessly like skip over a detail because something is important and everything, but I have been enjoying it. It is just, especially right now, we are just in like a crazy moment. They're trying to kind of figure out what to do with her situation. Snow. You know what? I ended up liking this a lot more than I thought I was going to. The beginning was really rough for me. I feel like it was pretty slow. I felt like I didn't really understand what was going on for a little bit. The big scandal thing that happens and then afterwards when they're trying to fix it, I'm kind of like, okay, well, they could either do, or this could go two ways. And I think it's going to go the bad way. And it kind of did. Not the bad way that in like it was bad, but like sad. It was like a sad kind of ending. I know this one was supposed to be talking about the Meiji era. I think it's either during the Meiji era or right after the Meiji era. But a lot of political things are kind of mentioned in this, like the Russo-Japan War. This is based after that, so like that gets brought up. There's a lot of things like, I guess Japan's culture-wise, you might want to look up while reading just because like it kind of gets mentioned quite a bit, and so you're like, what are they talking about? What are they mentioning? Because I have no idea what this means. I would do your own research on that, and I think it's also just kind of interesting in general. I had a good time reading this. It just took me a minute to actually get invested into it, but I thought it was pretty fun. I started reading The Republic by Plato. I don't know much about Plato. I don't know much about philosophy. I've never been interested about those kinds of things. I still feel a little confused on what this is supposed to be about. I think I'm gonna have to do some research. I feel like this is very, very much out of my comfort zone, so I wanted to give it a shot. I wanted to challenge myself in reading this, but like I have absolutely no idea what's going on. So let me do a little bit of research and then we'll come back to this. I watched a couple of YouTube videos about The Republic. I didn't realize this was the book that was talking about the allegory of the cave. We have talked about that in school. I did not know that. I really didn't, which is kind of embarrassing. I'm like 30-ish% of the way through. The fact that I'm just not interested in this subject like at all, it's really hard for me to get into. That's just me personally. I think if you really like that kind of thing, you may really like this. Personally, I feel like I'm doing a English assignment and we have to talk about the philosophy and the politics but behind what these people are trying to point. And so I'm just kind of like, I don't care. Although I do like some of the historical context between all of this in that video. I will link that YouTube video that I watched in my description because I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. The main guy in this book is Socrates, something like that. He is actually Plato's mentor, which, okay, maybe this is something everyone knows. I didn't know. I thought that was cool that like he kind of like has this like real life version of his mentor in the book and is the one like explaining all of these theories and all these philosophical arguments and like all that stuff. His real life brother is also a character in this. Actually, I think both of his brothers were characters in this too. They're real people that he knows, but just like upscaled just a tiny bit, which I think is so cool. Very underutilized. Like, put real people you know in your books with full names and everything. Like, we need to start bringing that back. Plato was onto something. That's the thing he was on, was crazy. Like, all these philosophical things, I'm like, no, that's what we need to bring back. I feel like I don't have an opinion because like I just don't really like care that much. I am in the cave right now and I don't want to get out. Some of you may know that. I'm gonna really try to understand and really try to give it my best effort. I might watch a documentary about Plato, because why do I not know anything? I'm watching everything but reading this damn book, because I don't get it. I don't get it. I feel stupid. This is me with the 3-body problem all over again. Like, I just feel very stupid. Anyways, I'm gonna try my best. And we'll see if you get any updates, because so far we're not looking good. I don't know how I feel because I don't understand anything. So, bye. Alrighty, so I have completed everything. Let's talk about the books that I read in this video. First book I read was Mythos by Stephen Fry. I ended up giving this book about 3 stars. I haven't thought much about it since I've read it. Like I said, these are stories that I kind of already knew. I think if you are somebody who doesn't know a lot about Greek mythology and wants to learn more about it, I think this is a great book for you to delve into. It's really easy to understand. The way he tells it, it's kind of like humorous. I think it makes it more interesting to follow along and not just like a plain like textbook type writing. I feel like this was very good. The next book I read was Spring Snow by Yuko Mishima. I ended up giving this a 3.75. Like I said, I liked it a lot more than I thought I was going to. I don't know a lot about Japanese culture. It was really interesting to see all of that and to kind of educate myself further into their culture, aside from like the political and kind of religious undertones too into this. Besides that, the drama in this, so good. I liked it a lot more than I thought I was going to. Then The Republic by Plato. I tried so hard to get into it. I tried so hard to understand. I tried so hard to just be in this world, take everything in. It is so cool that we get to experience this type of work from so long ago. Unfortunately, I just could not get into this book to save my life. I actually DNF'd it, which means did not finish. I don't usually DNF books for these types of videos just because I want to experience it as a whole, and also like that's kind of shitty to like not finish a book someone absolutely loves. I tried so hard to get into this, I just couldn't. This book is just not for me, and that's okay. So yeah. Besides that, we are getting into recommendation time. If you've never seen any of these videos before, I like to recommend books for these YouTubers because I've kind of got the semblance of what they may like. I'm just kind of guessing. This one, it's gonna be a shit show because we have such polar opposite in book taste. I don't even know at this point. First book that I'm going to be recommending is Circe by Madeline Miller. This is about the sea nymph from the Odyssey when Odysseus goes to the island of Thebes, I think. When he goes to that island, he's like stuck there because the sea nymph Circe kind of like captures him. This is about her. It's about her kind of side of the story. Madeline Miller really puts a twist on her stories of the Iliad and the Odyssey and like different characters' perspectives. So good, so lyrical, so poetic. If you want to read more of a twist on a story, I love this book. Next book I'm going to recommend is East of Eden by John Steinbeck. This is kind of a story about the book of Genesis a little bit. A story between 2 different families and different generations as well. The Trasks and the Hamiltons, whose generation helplessly reenacts the fall of Adam and Eve and the poisonous rivalry of Cain and Abel. This book is phenomenal. It is one of my favorite classics just in general. The characters feel so real. Like, you love them and you hate them and you feel bad for them, but you also root for them. Very character driven story, and there's not like a lot like really happening. It's such a good classic American story. The next book I'm recommending is The Secret History by Donna Tartt. This is more of like a dark academia classic. We are following this kind of group of Greek students. We're following kind of our main character who is new to this Greek class and is more of like the outcast from the rest of this group, but he's slowly becoming friends with them until this like really treacherous thing happens, and you find out at the very beginning of the story what happens. This terrible situation happening, kind of the after effects and kind of the down spiral of these people. This book is slow, okay? However, if you continue it and you keep going after like this big thing happens, after that point, it is insane. There's so many like secrets getting revealed. The ending is so satisfying. In my opinion, I think every character gets what they deserve. I think he may like this. Don't know if he's read it. One book out of the comfort zone. I'm gonna recommend Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fassett. The reason why is I haven't seen many fantasy books he's recommended. Now, I'm not saying he has never, but I haven't seen much. This is like a cozy fantasy. It's not super crazy, but we're following our main character, Emily Wilde. She is going out and kind of completing the rest of her encyclopedia of fairies. She goes to this small town. While she's there's like, the fairies are kind of playing some tricks on the townspeople there, so she kind of helps them out and communicating with the fairies. Her teaching rival is also there to help her, whether she likes it or not. It's just really cute. This is told in her journal entries. It is just such a fun, like cozy, but also kind of crazy, so at points, story, because it kind of also gives like academia vibes a little bit. I'm really spitballing, but this is supposed to be out of the comfort zone. I think I need to do a part 2 because I feel like I didn't give this one like as fair as a shot as I definitely could have, but let me know. Should I do a part 2? We have very different taste in books, so it was definitely a challenge to read, but I had a fun time regardless. But thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you all in my next one. Bye!